Alright guys, Amazon just came out with the first image for the Lord of the Rings TV show. I made a whole video all about it. You can go check it out. They also gave us a release date, which is super awesome. And the quality is like looking outstanding. So while we're waiting for the new show, here's an update on everything that we know so far about the Lord of the Rings TV show. So first things first, Amazon paid $250 million just to get the rights to do the TV show. And that's not even counting, they have $1 billion budgeted for 5 seasons of the show. That's like something that is not heard of at all. They have like a lot of faith in the show, obviously, and the things that are going on. And man, that quality is like top notch that we can see from the image so far. If you're gonna try to bring the Second Age and Valinor and all of that to life, you're gonna need like a huge budget, and this is exactly what they have. So that's the first thing. Their budget is $1 billion. It's gonna be 5 seasons, probably around like 8 episodes per season, and the release date is gonna be September 8th, 2022. Next thing after that is the first look we sort of get with the image. I made like a whole video about it, so you can go check that out on my channel, but we're gonna kind of go over like a little overview of it basically pretty fast. In my previous video, I speculated that the person at the front, I thought that was Sauron. I had a pretty like low quality image, and I had somebody actually in my comment section say that they think it's Galadriel, and when I finally got like the high res image, I saw the figure look more like a woman, so I was like, oh yeah, that definitely like could be Galadriel. So like shout out to you already knew what was up. But and then we also get you know, like a cool like fantasy elven city in the background. It's looking really nice. And then even further in the back of what like fans are freaking out about, you can see these 2 trees that are emitting light, and for Tolkien fans, you know that those are the trees of Valinor. They play like a really critical role when it comes to the history of Middle Earth, so the fact that they're like showing this quality of detail this early on is really reassuring for fans. Next up, Amazon has given us like a brief synopsis about kind of what the show is going to be about. Basically, they just say that like it's going to be about the great heroes and like villains of the Second Age, so that means like the story is going to take place like thousands of years before The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings. So not a lot of people that we know from those stories are probably going to be in this one. It's going to probably capture a lot of events that led up to the actual events of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. I'm going to read a little bit now, kind of like the synopsis that Amazon actually wrote. So here we go. They go on to say, it will take viewers back to an era in which great powers were forged. Kingdoms rose to glory and fell to ruin. Unlikely heroes were tested, hope hung by the finest of threads, and the greatest villain that ever flowed from Tolkien's pen threatened to cover all the world in darkness. Beginning in a time of relative peace, the series follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, and they confront a long-feared re-emerging of evil in Middle-earth. I have a feeling that one of the heroes that we're definitely going to see is going to be Isildur, who, if you don't know, he's the one that cut the ring from Sauron's fingers. So I feel like we're going to follow him because he was in Numenor, and then he came to Gondor, and you know, he was one of the founding kings and stuff like that. So it'll be really cool to kind of see his perspective throughout the Second Age. They also say that it's going to take place in the dark depths of the Misty Mountains. So a lot of people thinking that we're going to see Moria when it was in its prime. Also, whenever we saw Moria in the films, I've always wanted to see it in its prime. So it'd be really cool to see that adapted. So the showrunners, J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay, they're most known for like Star Trek and the new Godzilla and King Kong movie. They came out and said a statement about the show, which I think is really cool. So here's what they said. We feel like Frodo setting out from the Shire with a great responsibility in our care. It is the beginning of an adventure of a lifetime. So it makes me think like they're going to put a lot of care, obviously, into this show. They're going to make sure it's going to be done right. With the budget and Amazon and all of that behind them to back them up, I think that they can do it. Like, they got all of the right tools to be able to do it, and it seems like they really care about the series. So I'm not worried about, like, you know, if the series is going to be good or bad. Like, I think it's going to be good. The only, like, healthy skepticism is probably going to be, like, if they're going to be true enough to the source material. You know, you're obviously going to have to skip out on, like, some things, but being true to that source material, that's always a little, like, healthy skepticism when it comes to these kind of adaptations. I mean, just take Game of Thrones, for example. They have a lot of talent that's brought to the team as well. They have people that have worked on Breaking Bad, that have worked on Game of Thrones. They got a lot of really good, like, talent behind them. They also have some great directors. And a director who signed on for all 5 seasons. He directed one of the new, like, Jurassic World movies. So these people are used to handling franchises. They're used to handling all this, like, sort of big budget stuff. And they've done pretty decent jobs with them. So I think they're going to handle this pretty well, especially with the budget that they have. They also have some big name actors in there, which is pretty cool. But I think one of the funniest moments is when Sir Ian McKellen was asked about it, and he was just like, they're gonna do another Gandalf? Like, no one can be Gandalf but me. There's no other Gandalf but me. And I think all the fans are like, yeah, you're right. But unfortunately, he hasn't been asked for anything on the show. He hasn't been asked to come on it or anything like that. But he's like, I would love to. Like, he would love to go and be Gandalf again. And he's just like, Gandalf is like a 7,000-year-old like wizard. Obviously, I'm not too old to play him. And I'm like, yes, like, Sir Ian McKellen, we want to see you again as Gandalf. Like, that would be so look cool. We'll be seeing like familiar characters again, like Elrond, we'll see Sauron, we'll see Galadriel. They might not be like played by the same actor. Actually, I believe they're not played by the same actors and actresses, but it'll be really cool to see those kind of like familiar characters again. There's also reports of nudity in the show. That's because they have hired a intimacy coordinator. Usually someone's brought on like that when they have like sex scenes and stuff like that, and it's making people like feel comfortable in the set. They're also just used when there's just like nudity anytime on set. So I don't know if there's necessarily going to be like a sex scene or anything like that. I think it's most likely that there could be like nude scenes and stuff. So I think that's going to happen, but I'm not really sure on like any sex scenes or stuff. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. It's also confirmed that they will be filming in New Zealand where the original movies were filmed. It'll be really good to have that same kind of like consistent feel about the franchise because, you know, I mean, New Zealand's like beautiful and they want to capture that landscape and they want to keep the heart of like what we know Middle Earth to be. And lastly, Peter Jackson is not involved in the project at all. Actually, he says that he's pretty excited to see it when it comes out because he was like, well, when The Lord of the Rings came out, I wasn't able to see them because I was working on them. And for The Hobbit too, he was working on those as well. So he's like, I'm finally excited to just like be able to sit back and enjoy and like watch Middle Earth come to life. But yeah, that's all the main stuff we kind of know, guys, right now. I want to know your thoughts on that, guys. While you're down there, make sure you comment, you like, you subscribe. Really would help out the channel a lot, and I really want to hear from you guys. So let me know what you guys think of this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.